Well, welcome back. I know a lot of you are saying, the interest rates are pretty low, but don't wait to pay down your debt. It really makes no sense. That's one of the things credit counselors are urging Canadians to do. We're also being warned that interest rates on mortgages are going to rise no matter what. It's just a matter of time when. To explain what this can mean for homeowners, I'm joined by Jeffrey Schwartz, Executive Director of Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. Now, Jeffrey, one thing about paying down your debt is lifestyle choices that we make, is living within our means. And I think that's a big one. That's a big one for me, definitely. And I think a lot of Canadians are tackling the same thing because we're used to taking out loans. We're used to having money on our credit card that we owe the credit card companies. How do we change that?
Well, first off, living within your means is what it's all about. And we've been doing that, we have not been doing that for probably the better part of 20 years. I mean, if you look at our savings rate maybe 20 years ago in comparison to where it is today, people are just spending what they have and more. And we've been the benefactor of huge surge in our housing prices, and they've been using their homes as cash registers. And effectively, that's really changed our behaviors. And it's almost become habit to live beyond our means. And we really, as Canadians, we really have to change that. And this warning, or the warnings that have come out over the last couple of years about interest rates rising, it's not just the interest rates. Gas prices are going through the roof. And as a result, food prices are rising as well. So we're seeing in many different areas that our normal everyday living expenses are rising, and really we should be putting the discretionary stuff by the side and trying to live within our means as prices rise.
So many people say that money breeds money, but what we're really doing is taking out debt in hopes of making some money off of it, either buying a bigger house, properties, investing in stocks, or whatever people are doing. Is that the right way to go, or do people really just need to reduce their debt or eliminate their debt and then start saving some cash to make investments?
Well, exactly. Those are great strategies if you have the money in the bank. If you don't have the money in the bank, then they're very risky strategies. You're playing with somebody that somebody else has control over, and really that's something that we as Canadians should kind of take a step back from and try and live within our means and pay off this debt, because really if interest rates, or when interest rates do rise and that debt is still there, more of your cash flow is going to be paying towards servicing that debt.
So tell me some very simple solutions for Canadians, a couple of points that Canadians need to know on how to reduce that debt and how to live more within their means.
At Consolidated, we always talk about budgeting. That's the first step. And really, a budget is nothing more than a snapshot of where you're spending your money and how much money you've got coming in. And if you don't start there, you have no means of cutting back. So identify where you're spending your money through your budget. Then the light bulb should go off and say, really, do I need to be spending here? Do I need to be spending there? Look for alternatives to get the same sort of products and services at a lesser price. As a result, that's going to leave you with a surplus at the end of the month. And be diligent, be ruthless in taking that surplus and paying off your debt. Start with the highest interest rate debt first, and then start working your way down from there.
And let me just ask you, like you said, mortgage rates are going to change, that's for sure. How is that going to affect us if we have a mortgage right now?
Well, obviously, one of the things that's going to happen is your mortgage is likely going to go up in terms of how much you're paying out each and every month, or every couple of weeks, depending on how you have it set up. And that's going to take a bite out of your income that you have to spend on everything else. So if you're not changing the way you're spending your money, then essentially you're going to run into some trouble later down.
So it's all about planning ahead.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And that wraps up our show for this morning.